The official ratings are in for AEW and NXT, so we're going to talk about it in today's video. Make sure you guys slap that like button, and as always, click that subscribe button and ring the bell.
You have arrived at your destination.
Welcome back to Destination PW. It's your boy Ango. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Tango with Ango. And every Thursday, the day after AEW and NXT head-to-head, we are going to bring you guys a weekly recap of the ratings. We're going to talk about the ratings war because whether or not you want to admit it, it's happening. This is WCW versus WWE all over again. I have very mixed feelings about ratings. I've never been a fan of ratings, but holy shit, these numbers are really impressive. And honestly, it's impressive for both companies, whether you want to admit it or not. But obviously, AEW came in swinging for the fences, and they absolutely hit it out of the park because AEW did over 1.5 million viewers in their debut episode, and NXT actually did shy of 900,000. Now, this might be shocking to a lot of people because WWE has been known to be the leader in pro wrestling for the last 20 years. And in fact, nobody has ever come close to touching them. And I'm not going to lie to you. This is NXT versus AEW. Raw and SmackDown, AEW, they're a whole different conversation, but we'll talk about the long-term portion of this because ratings for a lot of people say a lot of things. Like a lot of people truly believe that ratings make or break a company. I don't think so because clearly you can see how much money WWE is making, but ratings do tell us something very important, and that is whether or not the age groups of wrestling fans, what they're actually watching, right? So like the younger people have kind of stepped away from WWE because, well, in the last 20 years, WWE has kind of had a very underwhelming product. And what was really interesting is that a very young core audience was watching AEW. So it tells us one major thing that could be scary for long-term WWE, but younger wrestling fans want to watch wrestling. They just wanted something different. And it makes sense when you look at WWE's underwhelming product, but it's not shocking to me that AEW pulled 1.5 million viewers. And honestly, a lot of the props goes to TNT. I think Warner Media, I think they're just so invested in AEW that they did whatever they can to make sure this company pulls through. And whether or not you liked NXT or AEW more, I think they were both great products. I don't care creatively how you look at it. Both shows were simply good wrestling shows. That's what matters. But in the eyes of fans who are looking at ratings, 1.5 million, just under 900,000, that is a difference. That's a huge difference. And it's a huge difference when you consider that WWE's been in the game for so many years and AEW is still within its first year of business. Guys, AEW pulled in 1.5 million viewers in their debut episode, which is the biggest premiere for TNT in about 5 or 6 years. Why did AEW pull in such strong numbers? Well, I think a lot of it goes down to their ability to connect with fans. They gave us a glimpse of what we can expect on TV. What we can expect on AEW's television is a lot of ring-centric work, a lot of things happening in the ring or in the arena. Now, they made a couple of mistakes. We talked about this on the live show and on the watch along. We did the watch party. I said, AEW just needs to do a little bit better of introducing their stars to the casual audience. Because if you're somebody who is flipping channels and you just randomly come across TNT, honestly, AEW didn't do a good job of introducing you to who those guys are. And maybe for long term, that can play some effects into them, whether or not these viewers will come back. But guess what? NXT kind of also has that problem. I think WWE kind of promoted NXT on Raw and SmackDown and was just hoping people knew who Matt Riddle was or who Adam Cole was. And unfortunately, that's not the case. Not a lot of people know. So if you're a casual fan, you need to be reintroduced to a lot of these people. Why is there no Rock or Stone Cold? Why are these people that good? That's a whole argument that could be made for an entirely different video. But it's impressive to see the network backing that AEW has. And honestly, I don't know if this is going to be something that we can expect from them every single week. But it tells me that people have been craving an alternative to WWE, especially the younger audience. In fact, NXT did really well with the older audience, right? The older age demographic did very well for NXT. It made up a large portion of their audience. But as you guys know, it is kind of a young man's game. The future of pro wrestling really comes down to the casual fans and the younger audience. And the younger audience walked away from WWE for so many years because they were not impressed. And I think what we saw with AEW shows huge significance in the fact that they're able to attract the younger audience because, one, their product has a better perception, right? The perception value is based on the production value. You see NXT is in a smaller arena. It doesn't seem that big. Obviously being at Full Sail, it kind of hurt them a little bit. You're changing the channel, you turn on AEW and you're like, holy shit, it looks like a pay-per-view. And then not to mention, you have really good matches that go with it. NXT pulled out all the stops to have a great show. And I love NXT. I've been very adamant about showing my appreciation for NXT. It was like a takeover card. And when you look at AEW's card, it felt like a AEW pay-per-view. But you got to look at that presentation because, again, perception is everything. The way the human mind perceives this stuff, that's going to draw you in. I think a lot of people saw that AEW looked and felt like a bigger deal. And in the debut episode, that clearly helped them gain an audience that was willing to watch it all the way through. Now, what I found very interesting about this whole ratings thing is that we're going to do this every single week, and this will change every single week. In fact, I don't know if AEW is going to pull in 1.5. I don't know if NXT is going to pull in 1 million. That's a big possibility, but there's one thing I learned. And if you guys know one of the contributors to Destination PW, his name is Anthony Nukes. We had a conversation on this and we talked a little bit about this today. We were just having a personal conversation and he made a really good point about AEW and WWE NXT. And one of the things that Nukes had said was both of these companies didn't really tell you what to expect for next week. Obviously, we know some of the things that they've been advertising, but it's starting to sound like these shows might start changing on the fly. It sounds like they're going to wait to see what's announced for each one, and they're going to counter program each other. And honestly, I'm all for that. That means WWE is going to try very hard to get NXT over 1 million viewers, and it means AEW is going to try really hard to get, obviously, over 1 million viewers consistently. But again, the ratings on week 1, they're impressive for both companies. Even though NXT technically went down, it just shows you how much of the people that watch NXT obviously watch AEW. That's very clear. But I think on a week-to-week basis, week 10 versus week 1 is going to be different. If AEW does over 1 million viewers every week, that's great news for AEW. But if for some reason AEW starts going down in ratings, the wrestling fans have to stop and think about what ratings really mean. Right? We live in a digital age. I'm telling you guys, I watch a lot of my content on my phone, Snapchat, Instagram, stories, all of these different things. Guys, I promise you, the ratings may not always be that high for either company because we are consuming information very differently. But with that being said, I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, AEW is my preferred choice for Wednesday, and that's because I cover AEW. My business, this YouTube stuff, is pretty much what I do. I cover AEW more than any other company. I'm going to watch AEW, and we're going to do watch parties and post shows, just like we did yesterday. We had over several donations to the channel, a lot of contributions. We have new DPW champions, which, by the way, starting at $1 a month, you could contribute to the channel. We have so many new people here to hang out with, and we're going to talk about AEW because that's where the passion is. But guys, I'm telling you, these numbers might change, and it's important for us to realize that the numbers might go up or down, but most importantly, are these companies bringing in good products? A lot of people who have talked about NXT's lower ratings, they were shocked. I'm shocked. I thought for sure they were both pulling in 1 million. I thought it was going to be a split 1 million and 1 million. That's not necessarily the case. There was a difference about several 100,000. And to me, that's a good thing for AEW, but that doesn't reflect poorly on NXT's product. It just shows perception is everything. Wrestling fans want something different. There is something about NXT that reminds fans of Raw and SmackDown. And honestly, with it being the debut episode of AEW, there was probably a lot of interest to see what they can do. AEW didn't really give people a reason to watch next week, in my opinion, because for me, like, not a casual fan, I already know what to expect, right? They're going to try to tell some stories with the new faction. They're going to try to do some stuff with Moxley and obviously Ty Dillinger and all these different things. But when you look at NXT, they also didn't do the same thing. We know there's a Cruiserweight Championship match. We know some little things, but they kept us on our heels because we're going to see them go back and forth to produce a better show. And I think that's what's exciting. I think we should all be excited. but don't get lost in the ratings. Don't get lost in the numbers. They don't affect us on a personal level. I even joked about it on Twitter. I said the only ratings that matter are the ones on this channel. So make sure you guys share the video, show some love. If you guys like pro wrestling, this is the time to watch. Wednesdays are going to be huge. I'll still watch NXT, but on my big screen, I got AEW because I'm going to cover AEW. And I want to know what you guys think. Ratings are big deal right now, and AEW has definitely got the edge on week 1. This is the ratings war, guys. So we're going to talk about this every week on Thursdays right here on Destination PW. And don't forget, 3 new tiers for DPW Champion if you guys want to contribute. Guys, it's your boy Ango. And let me know what you guys think down below. I'll see you next time. Peace.